Um, so I know you went over after the Korean conflict, and you were helping to rebuild their country. So what did you do as far as rebuilding?
Well, the main thing we made sure that they had a water system, had a halfway transportation system, and food was very available through the American government there. And those people, rice was their biggest commodity. You never seen nothing like that until you go there and experience it. I'd heard about rice fields, but I'd never seen one. And I hope I never see another one. Because the mosquitoes like to eat me up. They saved all the waste, number one and number two. And they had great big wooden barrels about the size of these cement mixers, big round. They had, they put all that in there and cut it down with water. And they had a long handle, about 15 feet long, with a gourd on it. And they poured it on their fields there. Mm-hmm. And they planted rice in water by hand. And well, speaking of the Parmesan, when the rice come up through here, there was a lot of birds there. I don't forget what kind of birds they were. But the Parmesan, his job was, they built a platform right in the middle of the field, and he'd have a little thing up where he'd eat, sleep on it there. Had a thing with a little thing on the end of it, shake it there to keep the birds from getting some things of rice there. So it was very, very unique there. Mm-hmm. And we didn't, where we was at, the name of it was Pohang Dam. That was something by the sea, interpretation of it there. And it was strictly seaport, right in the place we was at there. And people was a little leery of us at first, but they warmed up to us mighty quick when it started getting food and transportation things that were vital to existence there. I met a lot of friends over there, and it looked like everybody's name, men, was Kim. You introduced, this is Kim. First thing you know, his name was Kim, So they would come up, and the first thing I heard was, and young Hustler Mickey. I think if I can remember, it was a good morning or a good day or something to greet you there. Mm-hmm. They were very, very courteous and very dedicated to their elders. And they had a lot of things. I took a photograph and had one of the artists stand there to paint a picture of my father. Hmm. And they had kept it for years, and the moss got in it. Oh. It ate holes in it there. Oh. But anyway, it was a type of art that you don't see. A lot of the figures didn't look like what we painted there. But anyway, it was nice. Mm-hmm. And they down where we was at, it was up on a place there, and down in the valley there is where the village was, all the little old huts and everything. It had a little village that looked like Bedford was years ago. One old restaurants, very few stores and all.
All right, you got another question, Michael?
Mm-hmm. What challenges did you face when you were in Korea?
Huh?
What challenges did you face when you were in Korea?
Songs?
Challenges.
Huh?
challenges.
Challenges?
Yeah, like was there some rough times and
It was just existing.
it was what?
Existing.
Existing?
Coldest place I've ever been in my life. When we got there, they had the barracks where the military men had during the war there. And when I went in there, we rode the train down from Sewell and got off at Pohang and drove by truck over to where we were going to stay there. And when we got there, I mean, it was ice cold. So I asked one of the guys who'd been there for a while, who kept the stove going? They said the one that gets the coldest. so I found that to be true. And I'm speaking of the mosquitoes. I felt like I was smothering when it come time for the mosquitoes. But I didn't sleep. I ate from it just a night or two because it nearly ate me up. I had knots on me like a hornhead shoved fish. So, and that was an experience. I never had experienced anything like that. And they had some of the guys that went out and killed deer, and what you call him? He was in charge of the mess hall there. His name was Sergeant Frezioso, and he could cook up a meal. That's one thing I'll say about the military. They fed their soldiers good, and they helped feed those people that were starving to death. And it was plenty of them, man.
Okay.
So how did this all impact you as a person? Did it change the way you think? In what ways has it affected your life?
My life. I have more feeling for people. I really do. Especially in care and eating and all. I think about as a child coming up, I had plenty to eat. I had plenty of clothes. And I had a nice home, and a safe home. In this country, you never experienced a world war like we was in there. And I stayed over to 1948, and it so happened that the boy was three of us joined the army together, and they sent us three different places. I was down in Pohang, and they had halfway communications. On a field radio, Army radio, it was one of the guys I went in the Army with. He was stationed with the 7th Division in Sewell, and I was with the 6th Division below the 38th parallel there. And trying to think of that thing there. There's so many little things that didn't seem significant then, but is now, looking back onto it there, it really changed my life. But, and when I come back home, first thing I done was bought me another motorcycle. And I had with my future wife, since we was youngsters there. First time I seen her, I loved her the first time I seen her. We were married 72 years. The Lord was good to us. He gave us three nice children. Give me a job I never was liking for work. I worked with the bus company for 41 years. Drove 31 years and supervised 10 years. And I learned to treat people too. and it's good, you know, after you become a Christian to witness to them, you know. And one thing with the government, they do furnish preacher. I don't forget what they call them now, but they furnish Catholic, Baptist, and all. I never did see one kind, and that was they held service at an old building there on Sundays there. I'll say one thing: the military goes out their way at that particular time to take care of their servicemen and to treat the world.
Mm-hmm. Got another question?
Yes. Hold on. So, what role did this have in the Cold War as a whole? The Korean War. What did that do in the Cold War?
You know, during the Korean War, you know, I was married then. I would have got drafted if I hadn't been married there. And it had effect on a lot of people's lives there. And the one thing that when you're in a foreign country, they have a lot of black market. And Korea wasn't any different there. It got so bad that the military printed their own type of money. They had on the military government. And you hear talking so-and-so will buy you most anything. The dollar bill would buy you most anything in Korea. Although you won't no grocery store to go to, won't no restaurant to go where we was at. But like I said, the government provided for that. They had what is called a PX, as where they had food, people that smoked cigarettes, some would drink beer and all. They provided that also at a reduced price. When I was on the ship going overseas, cigarettes was 4 cents a pack. Would that be that? Dad didn't have that now. Although I don't smoke,
Yeah.
I smoked a little bit, but thought I was big in the army there. But I went on to learn better there.
Next question. How did your time in Korea view your stance on the world at the time?
Oh, what?
Speak directly to him.
How did your time over in Korea influence how you see the world as a whole?
It made a man out of it. Like I said, I had more compassion for people. I was so thankful for everything I had. I had good parents, raised in church. Not saying I was always the best person, like a lot of sometimes you go astray. But generally speaking, I had good parents, grandparents. Come back, had a nice job there. And to top it all off, me and my wife, I was talking about the motorcycle. We went to get married on a motorcycle. we drove down to York, South Carolina. And if any familiar keep up with the news, that's the place where this woman drowned them 2 little boys in York, South Carolina. That's where me and Charlie got married.
Yeah.
1948.
So overall, how has this changed the way you view the struggle between tyranny and freedom today? Do you believe that it is still relevant today?
It's what now?
The struggle between tyranny and freedom.
It's a whole lot there. A lot of people, I'm sorry to say, it seems we're going in the wrong direction now. Never in my life have I ever seen the disregard for civil obedience and for the way people act and treat each other, generally speaking. We have the best education process, and it's gone astray. They're teaching, it reminds me of Nazi Germany during the 30s. I remember it real well. The world stood by and watched Germany take over so much of the world and the things that they went through during World War II. I dare say very few homes wasn't affected some way or another during World War II. And it's nothing like the good old USA. When we left San Francisco, that's the foggiest place I've ever been in my life. There was a place named Camp Stoneman, from Richmond, California. And you can remember that a little girl fell down in a well years ago in Richmond, California. And that was a big thing, a big rescue for that time. So it had a big effect on me, and it had a big effect on the world. You see today the disregard for authority, the disregard for rental things. Our government, sorry to say, is doing a good job of raising our children. They don't belong to the government. They belong to us. The Lord provided that for us, you know. Now it's that bunch of politicians